seeing this somehow rats eating human eyes first for some reason.
Because they're probably soft and easy to eat. They're probably soft and easy to eat.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
When you were talking about going to the doctor when you were a child, and that this is a very disturbing story, but I want you to try to explain it to people, how people were dying in these hospitals and rats would eat the eyeballs of the people who were dying, and children who were starving would eat the rats, and then the children would die and the rats would eat the children.
Yeah.
Explain what this was like. That you how did you see this?
Well, I mean, seeing that the bodies on the streets like everyday thing. It was no.
Where were the bodies? Like just laying around on the streets?
Also, they are floating in the rivers, and then they also train stations somehow had a lot of dead bodies because North Korea is very cold, and there's a train waiting area, and North Korea has one train go to one distance like once a month, and like. Here it would take like 1 hour to go the other place. In North, it take a month at least to go because there's no electricity, and sometimes people have to push the train.
They have to push the train.
Yeah. So in train stations, that's when people die mostly. And in North Korea, the hardest thing as a child for me is that when my mom goes away to find food, we don't have we don't have phones, we don't have letters. If I say goodbye to her, I don't know when I'm gonna see her again or if I'm ever gonna see her again. Because she could have killed and like raped and starved. You just never know how to find people. So in the morning when you go like walk in the train station, they just put the piles of the dead bodies, and they're all like become rigid, right? They're almost like wood, piled them on and taking away. And but the thing is, for me, I didn't even know the word compassion. Like nobody told me you have to feel bad for it. Because for me, it's like fish in the water don't notice the water, right? Like that. It was like something every day I saw as a child.
So you never went days where you didn't see. This is a normal thing to see dead bodies.
It was every day as like normal as like breathing the air right now. And one thing that I still remember is my sister and I was walking by the well. Like in North Korea, we don't have a switch. We don't have running water, obviously. We have to go to well or river to bring the drinking water. And there's a young teenage boy, I think, lying down, and his intestines coming out of his back. When you're really malnourished, that thing all opens up. You got zero fat. Every hole all opens. And you see dogs looking at his organs coming out. And he was still somehow conscious, begging for food at the time.
He was begging for food while his organs were hanging out of his body.
Yeah. And I don't know why he was like pants were off. And I felt nothing. That still haunts me till this day. Like, I don't know how I felt nothing at that point. And that just looked horrible. And because it's just the fact that he's alive and so much flies flying by on his organs, and how he's somehow consciously begging for food. And I didn't feel anything.
You felt no compassion?
No.
It was just normal.
Yeah. So that was like daily life thing. And then in the hospital when I was 13 years old, my parents took me to hospital because I was a bad stomachache. And then we don't have like X-ray machines. We don't have MRI, none of that. Just doctor rubs your belly, and then he says, "Oh, we need to operate on her." I think her like appendix were bursting or something. So that afternoon they cut me open without any anesthesia. But it's normal thing. People in North Korea operation without anesthesia. But the chances of you going to surgery is a lot higher for you getting infected because we don't have penicillin. The nurse is using a 1 needle to inject every single patient. So who do you know what the other person has? You get from actually more sick by being in the hospital.
Right.
And this is where we don't, of course, have an indoor bathroom for the patient. We have to go outside. And in between there's a piles of dead human bodies. And that's when I was seeing this, somehow rats eating human eyes first, for some reason.
Because they're probably soft and easy to eat.
And These women, I don't know, in my age probably, short hair, wearing these flower pants, and when they're dead, all like their mouth is somehow open, and their all eyes are hollow, and you see children like looking at the rats and laughing and chasing them, and adults telling them like, don't eat those, you're gonna get sick from it. But of course kids don't care, like even finding a rat is delicacy.
So they were finding the rats and then just trying to eat them?
Yeah.
Were they eating them raw?
Sometimes if you find the skin you do, but they do find some like fire and roast them.
So they were excited to find a rat to eat.
Yeah,
so they were catching them with their hands.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course they do catch them around with their hands, and these parts of human bodies, like she was on top. That's why I was able to see her wearing this flower pants till this, and then like her eyes are so hollow. It's like when you look at the human body, like nothing is left. I think that's what. It's not like just death is sad. It's just like how it becomes nothing. So empty inside. She does not know the shame or pain. Just she was lying there like that. And you see children just chasing them and laughing and try to catch the rats.
And the children didn't feel anything being around the dead bodies. Just it was normal.
It's our daily normal thing. Seeing a death is like our daily life.
And they would eat the rats and then they would get sick and some of them would die.
Yeah. A lot of them die.
And then the rats would eat them.
Yeah. It's like the cycle we talk about. It's like that's a spring is for North Korea, a season of death.
And so the diseases that they would get from the rats, they were willing to risk those diseases just because of hunger.
Because when you're, so there's a North Korean proverb. There's no wish for the person who died after their stomach is full. So even in middle of the earthquake, the North Koreans not try to run. So my mom was talking about the day when she was in the university. There's earthquake happening. And do you know what these students doing is not running out of the building and try to survive. They go to kitchen. So before they die, they eat at least. So they can die. So if you have that promise of eating a one meal, they're going to risk everything for that.
So it's just an entire country in a perpetual state of starvation.
Yeah. Always hunger. Never felt full.
In the hospital, and I was there for 10 days. And they did ultrasound. The reason I was taken there because I had heart problem and also I was collapsed. That's why they took.
Ben onu bilmedim. Eşetki nakşı Xitayning 5 kızı keştep öldürdü diyen kızlarını ben gördüm.
I saw some ladies wore orange color vest, and we also had to sing 5 red songs in that hospital as well. And at night, some girls quietly told me that those who wore orange vest will put to death by injection.
Yana bir kızını gördüm. Aşağıda börügünü aptike, salapan sülük halta is koyuptu bir börügünü evetken kızla yanımda otadı. Doktorxonada gördüm.
I saw a young lady who sat next to me who had an operation. I could see the bag hanging over her side, and I learned that she had her kidney removed.
You have been taken to the dark room a number of times. Can you explain what the dark room is?
Siz qarangı öygü bir qancha qitim meni akirdi deb shunaq dedi debsiz. Shu qarangı öyni biraz tasvirlab bera olamsiz?
Yo'q, men qarangı uyda o'zim yatmadim. Biroq qarangı uyda yatgan qizni ko'rdim. Mahbirat deydigan 25 yoshlik yeng kirgan vaqtda aşı qiz dedi 1 metr deb ichida bunday uzun chashqallar bor. Yuğan çaşqallar bor. Agar ketsa ko'zimiz ilinib qolsa, shu chashqallar qo'lsaqlar och ko'zlarimizning ichiga kirdi, quloqlarimiz ichiga. Shuning uchun kechich uxlamay mashta qilib o'tadik deb shu qizlar degan qarang'i uylar bor. Nurg'un qizlar o'shaqda o'tadi.
Well, in fact, I wasn't taken to a black room. It was the other ladies, women in the cell where I shared with and a lady called Mahbrat, who was 25 years old. And she described me what was like when she was in this solitary confinement in this metal cage, 1 meter by 1 meter. She also said that there were rats, and they didn't dare to sleep. So all night long they had to try to drive the rat away.
She's giving evidence remotely from Paris, France. Good afternoon, Ms. Hatiwaj. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you. Golbar Hatiwaji was born in LA in December 1966. She left the country to reside in France, where she's living now. She was contacted almost 10 years after that by a colleague asking her to go to China or Urumqi to sort out her retirement papers. She arrived there and she was arrested. The police showed her the picture of her daughter participating in anti-Chinese demonstration and holding a flag of East Turkestan. Between June 2017 to March 2019, the witness was moved to a number of camps. The witness was interrogated a number of times and for many days. Eventually, she was forced to sign a document accepting her guilt and appear before the camera praising the government for her good life and the benefits that she had made. She had to denounce her husband and her daughter as well as World Uyghur Congress. Eventually, she was released and she managed to go back to France in August 2019.
Seeing this, some rats eating human eyes first for some reason.
Because they're probably soft and easy to eat. They're probably soft and easy to eat.